Alright guys, we are back. Wishing Chair, chapter 24, I do believe. And the name of it is Big Ears the Goblin. One day when Molly and Peter were playing with Chingy in the playroom, they heard footsteps running down the garden. "Quick, hide, Chingy, there's someone coming," cried Molly. The pixie always hid when anyone was about. He ran to the cupboard and got inside. Peter shut the door just as Mother came into the playroom. "Children," she said, "I've lost my ring. I must have dropped it in the garden somewhere. Please look for it and see if you can find it." Peter and Molly were upset. They knew that their mother was very fond of her best ring. It was a pretty one set with diamonds and rubies. They ran out into the garden and began to hunt, but no matter where they looked, they could see no sign of any ring. "Let's go ask Chingy to help," said Molly. So they ran back to the playroom. Chingy was sitting reading. They told him how they had hunted for the ring. "I'll soon find out if it's in the garden," he said, shutting his book. Is your mother certain she dropped it there?" "Quite certain," said Peter. "How are you going to find out where it is, Chingy?" "You'll see in a minute," said the pixie with a grin. He went to the door of the playroom and looked around. There was no one about. He whistled softly a strange little twittering tune. A freckled thrush, which is a bird, flew down to his hand and stood on his outstretched fingers. "Listen, Freckles," said Chingy. "There is a lost ring in this garden. Get all the birds together and tell them to hunt for it." Freckles gave a chirp chirp and flew off. In a few minutes, all the birds in the garden were gathered together in a thick lilac bush. Molly and Peter could hear the thrush singing away, just as if he were telling a story in a song. They knew he must be telling the birds what to do. In a few seconds, every sparrow, starling, thrush, blackbird, robin, and finch was hopping about the ground, under the bushes and in the beds, under the hedges and over the grass. They pecked here and there. They turned over every leaf. They hunted for that ring as neither Molly nor Peter could have possibly have done. At last, Freckles the thrush came back. He flew down to Chingy's shoulder and chirped a long and pretty song into his ear. Then he flew off. "What did he say?" asked Molly. "He says that your mother's ring is nowhere here at all," said Chingy. "She can't have dropped it in the garden." "But she knows she did," said Molly. "Well, someone must have found it already then," said Chingy. "I wonder if any goblin was about last night. They are not honest if they find any beautiful jewel. Wait, I'll find out." He went to the lawn near the playroom. It was well hidden from the house, so he could not be seen. He drew a ring on the grass in blue chalk. "Keep away from this ring," he said to the watching children. "When I say the goblin's spell, you will see blue flames and smoke come out of the ring. If goblins have been this way during the last few hours, don't go near. If nothing happens, we shall know that no goblins have been this way." Molly and Peter watched while Chingy danced slowly around the ring, chanting a string of curious magic-sounding words. "Look, look, smoke is coming, and blue flames." "What does that mean? You guys know," shrieked Molly excitedly. "Oh, Chingy, don't go too near." Sure enough, as they watched, the ring began to smoke as if it were on fire, and small blue flames flittered all around. Chingy stopped singing. He threw a pinch of dust over the ring, and smoke, flames, and chalk all vanished as if they had never been there. "Yes," said Chingy, "a goblin was here all right. When a blue chalk ring flames like that, it's for sure signs of a goblin. I wonder which one it was. I'll just go and ask the fairies at the bottom of the garden. They'll know." He ran off. The children didn't follow, for they knew that Chingy did not like them to see the fairies, who were very shy. He came back running fast, his face red with excitement. "Yes, the fairies saw Big Ears the Goblin pass by here last night, so he must have found the ring and taken it. They said that he seemed very pleased about something." "Oh dear, how can we get it back for Mother?" asked Molly in despair. "We'll get it back all right. Don't worry," said Chingy. "As soon as the wishing chair grows its wings again, we'll go off to see good old Big Ears. He's not that good, is he? He'll soon give it back. He is very What's a good word? Chicken. He's kind of a chicken. Good, said the children in delight. Oh, won't it be fun to have an adventure again? Where does Big Ears live? Not very far away, said Chingy. In Goblin Town. Listen, there's your dinner bell. You go into dinner and I'll see if I can get the wishing chair to grow its wings again. Sometimes a little singing helps. The children ran indoors, bubbling with excitement. What fun if the chair grew its wings that afternoon. After dinner, they ran back to their playroom. Chingy met them at the door with a grin. The chair has grown its wings, he said. It's in a great hurry to go get away, so come on. Peter and Molly ran into the playroom. The wishing chair certainly seemed in a great hurry to go. Its wings were flapping merrily, and it was giving little hops on the floor. I think it thinks it's a bird or something, said Chingy, grinning. It will twitter soon. The children sat down on the seat. Chingy climbed on the back. To Goblin Town, he cried. The chair rose into the air and flew out of the door with such a rush that the children were nearly thrown out of their seats. Steady, chair, steady, said Chingy. There's not such a dreadful hurry, you know. The chair flew so high in the air that the children were above the clouds and could see nothing below them but the rolling white mist, like a great dazzling snowfield. Rolling and white are the adjectives. Even though rolling is a verb, it's describing the mist. And then we have some imagery, like a great dazzling snowfield. Where are we now? Asked Molly, peering down. Are we getting near to Goblin Town? We must be, said Chingy. But we can't know till the chair dives through the clouds again. Ah, here we go. Down with the chair through the cold white clouds. The children looked to see if Goblin Town was below. Look at those funny little crooked houses, cried Molly in delight. And look at the goblins. Oh, it's a market or something. The chair flew down to the busy marketplace, and the goblins crowded around in surprise. Good afternoon, said Chingy, getting down from the back of the chair. Can you tell me where Big Ears lives? He lives in a yellow cottage at the foot of the hill, said a little green goblin, pointing. The children carried the chair down the hill, for it had stopped flapping its wings and seemed tired. They came to a yellow cottage, and Chingy knocked loudly. That hurt my hand. The door opened. There stood a goblin with yellow eyes and great big pointed ears that stuck up above the top of his head. Good morning, Big Ears, said Chingy. We've come to get that ring you picked out of our garden the other night. What ring? Stammered the goblin, going pale with fright. I didn't see any ring. Oh, yes, you did, said Chingy firmly. And if you don't give it back at once, I'll turn you into a wiggly worm. No, cried Big Ears, falling to his ears. Don't do that. Yes, I did take the ring, but I gave it to Snoogle, who lives in the castle over there. Off to Snoogle, then, shouted Chingy, and he jumped into the white chair. The children followed, and up the chair went into the air, and they were off to Snoogle, wherever and whatever he might be. And that is the end of that chapter. Now let me say that the Snoogle is one of my favorite parts of this book, and we are going to get to look forward to that tomorrow. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're being kind to yourself and to your parents and to your siblings, and I will see you soon.